Hey there guys, Zach here for Windows Central and welcome back to another video. Now today we're taking a look at Windows 10 build 18970. This build includes a number of notable changes and enhancements over the last public preview builds and indeed the last build video, which was with build 18947 I believe. That was a leaked build. So it's been quite a while, so we're doing another build video. So diving straight in, the first notable change in this build specifically is with the touch experience on convertible devices. So if you're using Windows 10 on a convertible such as the Surface Pro or a HP Spectre X360 or a Lenovo Yoga or a Dell XPS 13 2-in-1, any sort of 2-in-1 convertible, there are some touch improvements for you here in this build. Now, to activate these new touch improvements, all you have to do is flip your convertible into tablet mode. So here with my HP Spectre, if I flip the keyboard around, you'll notice a few things change on the taskbar. The hitboxes for the pinned icons and running apps are now larger, as well as the keyboard icon now shows up in the system tray. And this is all in the name of sort of improving the touch experience when in desktop mode. Now, it's worth pointing out that this has nothing to do with tablet mode. Now, the old school tablet mode is still here and still operates exactly like it has done in the past. These touch improvements are for when you're using Windows in desktop mode. So Microsoft isn't updating tablet mode today. These are just touch improvements to the desktop mode instead, which is why Microsoft is more marketing this for convertibles rather than strictly tablets. Basically, all this does is make hitboxes larger, as well as make the keyboard show up on screen by default when you are typing into a text field. So this is the File Explorer here, and you'll see that all of the buttons in the File Explorer are now larger. If we flip this keyboard back around and disable these touch improvements, you'll see that everything sort of shrinks and goes back to normal. But when in the tablet posture like I am currently, if I open up, say, Notepad, if we know where that is, Notepad is in here, and tap in here to start typing, the keyboard will automatically come up. Now, believe it or not, this never used to be the case. If you were tapping into a text field that wasn't in a modern app, the keyboard itself would not pop up automatically. You had to press the button down here to enable it. But now it does, which is the expected behavior, which is nice to see. So what Microsoft is essentially doing here is improving the touch experience for desktop mode rather than improving the tablet mode experience as a whole. So that's a quick look at this new tablet experience. We'll keep this enabled for the rest of the build video since it is the newest thing in these builds, but everything we're going to show you works for mouse and keyboard going forwards as well. So moving on, the next noteworthy change in this build is a new cloud download option in the recovery area in settings. So if we go to reset this PC here, and press remove everything. This will take a second to load, but we should have the option to cloud download Windows. And what this allows you to do is download a fresh copy of Windows from the cloud. So that's a nice feature to see. This is something that macOS has had for quite a while. Windows is catching up in this area, but it's good to see that it's finally here. And that's basically it for all the changes specific to this build of Windows. Now we're going to take a look at some of the features that have been introduced over the last few builds since our last build video. Starting with the general rollout of things like the new Windows search experience in File Explorer. So if we come up here, I am actually going to go back into laptop mode for this so I can control it easier. If we make this a little bit wider here, there's now a new Windows search experience in the File Explorer. So if I search for, I don't know, document, you'll see there's this new UI that searches not only the page where you are in File Explorer, but your entire system and I believe OneDrive as well. So it's more like a universal search bar now instead of just a sort of local search bar for the folder or area of the File Explorer that you're in, which is very nice indeed. So if we take screenshot here, you'll see that this lists everything that has the word screenshot in it, which is cool to see. If we press on that, that will take us to this dedicated search UI as it has in the past. Great to see. The other thing that's now rolled out to everybody in the Insider program, if you're in the US at least, is the new Cortana experience, which is right here. We can now sign into it. It is marked as beta, but once we sign in, we can accept the terms and we can now start using Cortana with our keyboard and have a sort of strung together text conversation, just like you would expect to be able to do with a digital assistant. So I can say, hey there, and Cortana will reply in a text bubble. What's the weather like today? There's the weather. And of course, I can also use my voice if you prefer that. I also need to enable microphone access, which is very interesting. So let's do that now. So apparently by default, Cortana doesn't have microphone access. So I guess that's a good thing for privacy. But now we've got that enabled. What's my name?
Zach.
There we go, and as you heard there, it replied with a voice. There's also the settings area up here, which is cool to see. We have options and stuff as normal. And that's basically a quick rundown of the new Cortana experience. We've already taken a look at it in a previous build video, so we won't dive into it much more here. If we jump into settings, there's now a new option in the user accounts area for restarting and reopening apps. So if we go to sign in options here and scroll down, you'll see here there's a new option under restart apps that says automatically save my restartable apps when I sign out and restart them after I sign in. So this is great if you have a compatible restartable app and you have an update to install. Instead of having to manually reopen those apps after that update has been installed and rebooted, Windows will automatically open them up for you, which is nice to see. Windows has sort of had this feature before, but it's been very clunky. I'll be curious to see if it's improved here. Now, if we jump into Task Manager here, there's a new option. Now, unfortunately, I can't show this because I don't have a dedicated GPU running here. But if you go to the Performance tab and go down to your GPU, you'll now see the temperature of that GPU directly within the Task Manager, which is super handy. Now, whilst we're in settings, if we jump into devices here and go to mouse, the option to change your cursor speed is now present within the modern settings app. This is one of those things that have been ported over from the control panel, and it's good to finally see it showing up in the modern area instead. If we go into network and internet, there is a brand new redesigned sort of network status page, which is nice to see. You know, buttons have been moved around, the UI looks a little bit cleaner, all that fancy stuff. There's also a new data usage area here, so we can see all of our data being used, except apparently it hasn't been logging anything. Unit, gigabyte, save. Okay, so you have to set a data limit, but now it will start watching your data and stuff, which is nice to see. Let's remove that for now, though. And also the notification improvements, which sort of showed up in a previous build but are now functioning on my machine, are here as well. If we go into notification and actions, we can sort by most recent or name. And also if we click on one of these, we get this nice sort of image thumbnail preview for these options and whatnot. And also in the notification area, there's now a quick link to this area here in settings. And there's also the ability to press on this little settings icon, which should allow you to jump straight into the settings for that notification, which is cool to see. Now, finally, and this is arguably the biggest change that's been made to Windows since forever, I guess, Notepad is now a Microsoft Store app. Yes, it's an app that can be updated and indeed uninstalled from Windows because it's no longer baked into the OS. It's now an updatable Microsoft Store app. In fact, if we go into the Microsoft Store here and go to our downloads and updates, we may even see Windows Notepad as an app that has been recently updated. Look, there it is, Windows Notepad. And if we click on it, this will show us the Windows Notepad app page, which we can press on launch to open Notepad. So there you go, Windows Notepad is now uninstallable. In fact, to shock the world, we will uninstall it right now. Goodbye, Notepad. And on that note, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.